Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Renaud Fossard from Latindad, the Latin American Network on Debt Development and Rights. So we're part of the DAT family, like Eurodad, Afrodad, but Latindad did the choice of adding the right to debt and development. Well, in Spain it's Derecho, so 3D. So actually we're pretty happy about being able to participate into that seminar, touching base with rights and tax. So, and by the way, congratulate the special reporter for the report we've been following from the beginning. So, I'm advocacy manager on international tax issues in Latindad, and I want to say that I'm glad to be here because it's pretty refreshing to hear deep debates on the content. Always have the time or the opportunity to do that and to try to make that link between human rights and tax. The way I would see it is that there are two approaches to this. One is kind of rather deep on the substance and how to bring the very old issue, which is tax, which is very old, to the more modern frame of human rights. And so it's a deep issue that we have been addressing so far. There is another one which I've been addressed too, is a rather strategic one. So, meaning how the human rights approach can help us to achieve some political concrete goals at very short term. And I will rather focus on this aspect. So, what I will do is I will quickly give an overview of the tax structure in Latin America and then switch to, I will take this issue as an example of what are the limits of the international architecture today on tax issues in order to try to see if a human rights approach could be a good tactic for changing the international architecture on tax issues, and so touch with the UN Tax Committee versus G20 roles. But quickly before, I will obviously have to present Latindad quickly and Latin America, generally speaking. Well, I'm amazing at doing for So Latindad is a Latin American network present in 11 countries, and I've been set up within the Jubilee campaign on debt issues, and by 2008-2009 we started to wonder beside the debt issue where the money was coming from and going to, so we switched to, we added another issue which is the tax issue, and fiscal also because we look at the spendings, and permanent preoccupation we would have is to see it within the regional frame in terms of international financial integration. So in 2011 we set the fiscal justice networks of Latin America and the Caribbean, and we're part of the Financial Transparency Coalition, which I represent, and the Global Alliance for Tax Justice. So quickly, I won't go very long. In addition, that there are a lot of common points with what Xavier showed. So, well, poverty in Latin America, you can see the last 4 columns are the last 4 years, right before 2002, so it's 10 years before, so that's what the gap. But basically, it keeps decreasing. So, that's the good news. The thing is that for the past decade, Latin America have been basically benefiting from the crisis in the north. So it's been a boom of foreign direct investments with very cheap dollars and very high commodity prices. So the chart you see on the left, it's the price of the commodities from 2000, they're just going up. And on the right is the FDI entrance. So you can see 2003. The orange line in absolute values is like 40,000 millions of dollars. So in less than 10 years, it went up to 180 billions of dollars. So basically, FDI are just keeping coming in, and so for the past decade, it's kind of was a big party in Latin America for that, and that's over, as you probably heard about, with the dollar going up, the price of property going down. So the situation is not going to be so easy, so the reduction of poverty is not going to be that automatic as it's been so far. And big revendication we have had for the past decade is to use all of these inflows in order to try to develop and to make industrial transformation. It's not been done at the inverse. They've been profundizing the primary extractive exportation model. So this is a part of the commodities in exportation, the total exportation, as you can see, reached like 90% for almost all the countries. Argentina and Brazil are stepping a little bit out. They are pretty industrialized countries. For Bolivia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, Paraguay, Chile, and we don't see them. It's less relevant for Central America, but when we see that, we can guess that any move in the international commodity prices have a direct impact on the exportation of the Latin American country and so on its growth. So this is still the case right now. I won't go much further on the general features of Latin America, but we have to touch base with the extractive industry. Right? And what the chart you see on the left is the job products by FDI inflows. So basically, the extractive international industry, not the grassroots informal one, but the one from MNCs, is not producing jobs at all. It's the last one below at 0.5. So it's not producing any job, but it's actually producing a lot of conflict. So the figures we will see on the map on the right are not the number of projects, which are much higher, the number of conflicts. And the picture there is actually in Peru. Latindad is based in Peru, in Lima. And the most mediatized and famous conflict over there called Conga, with the companies Newmont and Yanacocha. And basically they want to dry up 2 lakes like this and make a big hole in the mountain, like kilometer square, for 15 years of exploitation. Then there we go. And basically the local population wasn't really happy about that, and so far the project has been stopped. And since the price of the gold is going down, now the Newmont doubting they're going to do that. So this was, a last feature, common feature at the regional level, even if it's pretty heterogeneous region. I will show that later. Inequality. On the left, the column, this is Gini coefficient for Latin America. We reached 50%. Right after you find Africa at 44. So we are 7 points higher. And when you see also the OECD on the right, this is around 30. So it's highly unequal. And this is by countries. Well, I will pass on the details. So before, that would be interesting, but I got it for if anyone want to have a PowerPoint. This is before the Gini coefficient, just at the before any fiscal policy, then after transparency of social care and like details. So basically about the tax structure at the regional level. 2 main features are the low tax burden and the regressive structure. This is the tax income in percent of GDP in 2013. So basically on average it's 20%, 21% in all Latin America, but this is thanks to Argentina and Brazil that are around above 30%, reaching 35%, which is on average the level in OECD countries, but it's hiding that most of countries are around 18. In Central America it's very, very, very low. 12, you find 12%, 30% in Guatemala, In Peru, they went from 16% 3 years ago to 18% right now. So this is pretty low. And the regressive structure of the tax system. The gray part, so on the left, it's Latin America, on the right, UCD. The gray part is VAT, and the black one is specific tax on consumption. So basically, if you add them, you reach half of the tax structure, which is based on consumption and indirect, so regressive. In the OECD, it's reaching 30%. The blue, no, not the blue, well, blue-gray part is tax on income, and the white one is social care. This is another main featuring in the region. This is based on Inter-American Development Bank, 2012, the very weak personal income tax. So basically, in terms of weight, it reached 1.4 of the GDP in Latin America, when it's 8.4 in the OECD country. So this is very low, and the chart you see on the right shows that well, only the rich pays. Almost nothing, because basically, so it's by decile. You pay population by decile, and on the vertical axis is the average effective rate. So basically, the 8 or 9 first decile, 90% of the population are not paying in more than 1%, like effectively on their income, and then the last decile is paying almost all of the tax income, but all means not even 4%. So basically, nobody is paying nothing in terms of and this is due to the fact that there is almost no tax on the personal capital income. It's all about labor income. We will get to the informality, but so there are a lot of exemptions, so very low tax on capital income. And given the inequalities, I mean, so Piketty shows that the labor income is not really useful to tax the very, very rich people that are having assets in financial assets. And then a big figure that we're going to go more into detail, half of the potential revenue from personal income tax is lost through evasion. So half of potential collection of individual and corporate income tax, and 1/4 of the tax revenue. So this is due to the informality of the economy in the world. In Latin America, on average, so that's hiding a lot of differences, but 10% of the population are taxpayers, when it's about 60% in OECD. So that's very low, and when you take the taxpayer, not even 3% of them are going to face an audit, a general audit each year, and an in-depth audit, not even 1%. So because of the weakness of the tax administration. So it's pretty easy to fraud. But so talking about fraud and tax avoidance, we're going to get to international tax issues. And well, first, common point with my colleague from Africa, tax competition. That's a huge issue, especially in the extractive sector. As we say in Spanish generally, is that tax policy should not be at the service of the investment attractivity policy. I don't know if that's very good in terms of English, but I think you understand. So, I mean, even the IMF said not even 3 years ago that the tax parameter is one among many others in the economic choice of a multinational, because they need the wealth, they need the worker, they need the growth and political stability. So to just make competition between countries that have different advantages and try to compete only on the tax doesn't really make sense. It's just losing money. So, and interesting figure that our Colombian member gave us recently about the extractive industry in Colombia. From 2005 to 2010, the whole extractive sector paid $456 million per year in terms of corporate income tax. And they, through exemption and deduction, they benefited from $952 million a year. So basically, each time they were paying 100, they were getting back 200. So it's not working.
Yes.
Yes. So I probably won't go further on the double taxation treaty issue, but that's a big component of our base erosion. Completely. Latindad has been doing a report in 2013, 5 case study of countries in Latin America and the double tax treaty, and we've been finding a lot of clue that is not worth it, and also to make the link with tax avoidance, I'm going to mention a little bit of the treaty shopping. When you use the national legal structure and the double tax treaty agreement between these two countries in order to finally neither pay in one nor the other. Argentina set up a commission of evaluation and revision of double tax treaty. Okay, so I will switch over because I want to show you a thing. So this is outflows, illicit financial outflows, 2 trillions. Accumulated, this is the price of offshore revisited, so what's accumulated in tax havens. And this is the outflow due to mispricing. What I want to go to is international architecture, so like BEPS. You heard about BEPS dynamics. So basically, this would be the BEPS action plan. Xavier was showing some special points of the BEPS action plan that would be interesting for the developing countries. But what happened is that between the BEPS report in February saying that multinationals are organized in order to shift return rate to the actually action plans that have been designed for J20, which is J7 emerging countries. Obviously the design, the calendar, 2 years, which is very aggressive, is not made for developing countries. So now, to pick up some point, I mean, that's nice, but that's not working. So the OECD have been doing consultation process that haven't been efficient. We have to understand the regional geopolitics. You have Mexico, Brazil, and Argentina that are pretty industrialized and in the J20. You have Chile and Mexico that in terms of IDH and what are OECD members. And you have to add Peru, Colombia, and Costa Rica that are looking for entering the OECD, so they will not criticize it. And all the others are out of that, so they will never have the same clue. Unfortunately, well, I cannot go really further into this, but this is the real BEPS we would like to design for developing countries. And there is not so much common point. It's talking much more about tax policy than tax transparency. Yeah. Okay, and this is the international architecture, unfortunately, I cannot talk about that. But we should switch definitely from J20 to UN body, because even a very, very interesting program of reform is not going to serve the poor countries. So that was the message. Thank you.